Okay, I don't need that. Good. Well, thank you. I'd like to just roll into, there's about a half hour. If it's okay if we can just move right into what we're talking about. Thank you for coming. It's a big group. I appreciate that. If you were here last year, you remember they had little tiny rooms, and it would be this many people, but half the room size, and everybody would be standing in. So I appreciate you all coming. I've asked him to take a picture from the back because it's so cool. So then I look like I'm popular and exciting. It's the end of the day. It's warm, so I'll try to just keep it going and keep the engagement up. This is my first sort of tech presentation. I'm a Covey 7 Habits kind of a presenter, and so bear with me. If I'm not doing it right, just say, stop and show us that more or this less. Okay. We're talking about skinning here. So when we think about a skin on canvas, what do we mean by skin? Canvas comes with at least 3 skins out of the box. I kind of looked through and just to see what I could find. The first skin, the skin I think that's most common, or at least I use it the most often, is this module skin. So a skin is how the students interact with all of the content at once. And so all of the quizzes are laid out there, a lot of valuable information, when things are due, what's coming up next. A lot of information is just there and present and available to the students. Another skin that you might see is this assignments view. So this is just listing out the assignments, not chronological or not organized particularly by type or anything like that. They're just kind of dumped out there. And another skin that you might be using is the syllabus view. So in the syllabus view, it's basically the modules view, but you get this paragraph at the top and you can write as much content as you'd like in that space. These are all skins for Canvas. They're not particularly interesting. No offense to any Canvas folks, but they're kind of just lining out content. It's not very exciting. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to build a gamification skin. Real quick, show of hand. How many are you here because you were excited to see the word gamification? That's a lot of you. How many of you are here because you were excited to see the word skinning? So the more probably technical. So I'm gonna try to cover both, but I've noticed there are other gamification presentations at the conference. I'm just going to show you what I've done gamification-wise, and then we will go underneath the hood to technically how did I pull that off. And that's kind of the thrust of this presentation. So if you want to leave now, I'll look away. Hopefully the picture got taken already, and it already looks like I've done a lot. Okay, gamification. How many of you are, let's just kind of profile you. How many of you are really avid game players? So you're World of Warcraft, you're just playing, lots. Okay, not a ton. How many of you play these higher end games, but just not that frequently? Okay. How many of you are more of a hobbyist player? You've got phones with Candy Crush and all of those other things on them, right? I'm surprised that's not more people, really, be honest. How many just regularly play either Angry Birds or Plants vs. Zombies or Candy Crush, or I don't know what else is popular right now. We live in a world where these games are more and more popular, more and more people are playing them, and that's the environment that younger folks are moving up through. I'm not particularly a big gamer. I actually don't even play the phone ones until I started doing this, and then I just started downloading it. I call it research, right? It's me and Candy Crush, just for, and it's addictive, hours and hours. I just waste so much time on it, but I kind of want to understand how it works. When I thought about gamification, I wanted to make the environment that the students come into more interesting. I didn't want them to come in and see this sort of assignments list. I wanted them to come in and see something that was kind of rich and engaging. And I wanted them to have very clear indicators of their progress, like you would see in a video game. Video games are very good about showing you where you are right now and how much farther you have to go before you win the game. This is not really a presentation on gamification. It's about how to skin Canvas with a new interface. I will throw about 6 slides in of just what gamification is, just so you understand why I'm motivated to do this. Maybe next year I'll do a presentation on gamification. So, games have been around for thousands and thousands of years, which if you think about that, that's kind of interesting. We've got record of ancient Egypt. As long as we have records, we have records of people playing games. Something about human psychology. I'm a social psychologist, so something about human psychology makes us want to play games by ourselves and with other people. That's a fascinating idea, because if you think about motivation, we eat because we will die without it. There are other things we do to be tactful. The desire to reproduce is just sort of genetically in there. We don't have any choice in that. But for some reason, we play games even though there's no valuable outcome. I eat or I die. I drink or I'll die. So I have these.
Collect pins or I'll die.
Yeah. Well, no. There it is. Collect pins, or you won't have pins, right? That's the what's going on there. There's something about human minds that make us want to play. Modern games can be almost addictive. People will throw birds at pigs for hours. There's really no value that's being generated for anyone or anything. We're actually consuming time that could be valuable in other ways, but we want to do it. And so when we think about gamification, gamification is taking the mechanics of a game and applying them to non-game scenarios. So we're not trying to make school into a game. We're not trying to we're not talking about learning games like you see. My kids play lots of learning games. Pop Tropica, they love that. We're taking the mechanics from a game and applying them to non-game situations. So my question became, well, what is it about games that makes people want to play? What can we pull out of that? And then can I get them addicted to doing their homework? That's honestly was the approach. Can I get them addicted to doing their homework? So what kind of game mechanics do you see out there? Almost all games include things like this: challenges, chance, competition, cooperation, feedback, acquisition, that's your collecting pins, right? Rewards, transactions, turns, winning and losing. If you look through that list, these are all just excuses for someone to interact with an environment. They provide reason for us to, at a very psychological level, to want to interact with an environment or content. Those mechanics do not have to happen just in a game. You can bring those mechanics into a non-game environment. If you've done LinkedIn, have you seen the little bubble that continues to rise as you fill out your profile? That's a game element, though you're not in a game, obviously. So if I put this in other words, this entire list right here is about motivating. So gamification is not about pedagogy. It's not about improving your education. Great gamification will not fix crappy pedagogy. But when we move into the forward where people are moving online and you have all these, talk of MOOCs and all kinds of things where you're losing this hands-on touch, gamification is about providing reasons for people to want to interact with the content in your class. Okay. So the mechanics, they translate into elements in the game. Achievements, badges, boss fights, collections, combat, content unlocking, levels, points, quests, teams, appointments, status, progression, etc. Just go play any very, very successful iPhone game, and you're going to find that entire list. They very meticulously create these games from these almost formulas, right? What's crazy is we in education have been doing these things for a long time. We don't call them those things, but as I thought through classes I've taught, and I looked through that list, achievements is pretty clear. You get a grade. You finish an assignment. You have a specific skill set. Badges. Boss fights. These are these exams. The exam's coming, and I've got to beat it. I've got to work super hard against it. Combat. These are individual excursions and individual assignments. We have levels, A+, A-. Points translates into grades. Teams translates into group projects. Status, I'm the best person in class. I know that one of my 9-year-olds, I have twin 9-year-olds, he loves that he's the smartest person. And that's important to him. And he will keep pushing. He does more homework than I ever ask him. He wakes up at like 3 in the morning to do homework. It's crazy. But he loves to be the best person in class. We have progress through our syllabus, and then we have quests. Quests is what I've been thinking a lot lately. But if you think about course objectives, this is basically a quest, right? There's an end goal, and we're working towards something. That's a key element of gamification. So this is the skin that I made. So now that was the gamification piece. Now we're stepping over into the more technical side. This is the skin I made for Canvas. I'll walk you through it a little bit. I've run this for the last 2 semesters in my organizational behavior class in the business school. Yeah, let's just keep stepping through it. If you look at the individual bits, I don't have any students when I took this screenshot, but the class starts at 0 points, like a video game would, and you work upwards. So you start with an F. You have an F until about maybe 2/3 through the semesters. When you finally get, it says keep working, you can do it, a D, new hire. And since it's a business class, I've set up this idea of you being in a business. C is a trainee, a B is a star employee, an A is a manager. And notice there are points above an A. It's funny because I got students who want those points. They want to be the executive or the CEO that's above that. So if the A is the best you can get, well, I guess so. But if you'd like to do extra homework, there's more out there for you. And I will get students who will punch through and continue to get those points. So they'll work through, it'll be 3/4 through the semester, and then there'll finally be a new hire, a D. I finally have a D in the class. They're very excited. Everyone celebrates. And they just keep struggling through. We have leaderboards. In my class, I assign an avatar to everyone. Everyone is a company. So I might be Honda. You might be Toyota. I can see your total scores. I'm only 3 points behind you on the leaderboard. So I go and I do my homework early so I can leapfrog you up the ranks. It's amazing the students that will just push and push each other, not knowing who each other are, trying to get more and more points as they work forward. They do. The high ones, the ones on the top do. They're like, I'm Honda, who are you? And because they want to know directly who they are beating. For FERPA requirements, I can't give student scores out by name, but I can what's the word I'm looking for? Neutralize. Anonymize. I can anonymize the data and put it out there. Okay. Easter eggs, fun idea. No points at all. They're just Easter eggs. So in Western culture, we have a holiday where we hide eggs and people find them and put them in baskets. That's the event, right? It's in April. Well, I have these Easter eggs that I've hidden throughout. So this is a quiz, and there's an egg in the question. Buried at the very bottom of the leaderboard, there's an egg. On the front page, there's an egg. There's eggs throughout. You're taking a quiz. You're turning an assignment. There's eggs everywhere. You click them, and once you've clicked on them, you've collected it, and it shows up in your Easter egg column. Achievements, again, no points, just collections of desirable behavior. Find all the eggs, you're a master of the hunt. Come to class every week, you're a teacher's pet. The list goes on and on, just the things that I want them to be good at. People push a little harder to acquire these achievements. Go ahead. First of all, you get a reward for your questions, and then there's only 2 more, so it's a limited time offer. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
How did you make your eggs clickable?
Yeah, so it's in HTML.
I know a rich text editor, but how did you do that in the quiz?
Quiz has a rich text editor in it as well. Oh yeah, so our question is, how do you make the eggs clickable?
So that it's trackable.
Yeah, so I make it trackable by making it in a file. Does that make sense? Files have a state of viewed or not. When you click on it, you go to the file to see it, and now it's tracked. Does that make sense? Okay, go ahead. Yes. His question was, does Canvas have the ability to copy one course into a new form? Yes. It's not as clean as the eggs all break, and I have to go find them, which I lost them because I'd always hit them. I don't know where I put them. So I have to go find them and fix all the links each time. That's kind of a pain. All right. Does this work? The question was, so I just had a straw poll out to the last 2 semesters. How much would you agree with this statement? The gamification interface, including the progress charts, bonus, penalties, and leaderboard, motivated me to perform better than I typically do. Generally, yes. Generally, yes. People tend to work a little bit harder. I think the comments do better at telling the story. I'm fairly competitive, but I've always struggled with staying motivated with school. The game-like nature of the interface makes me want to beat the rest of the class. It was unique and fun, and actually made doing the assignments fun because you got to watch your grade rise to the different levels. Loved it. Not everybody loved it. I don't want to tell this story too rosy, right? It took a while to get used to. It was different. I'd never seen it before. I just thought it was kind of weird at first. I got a handful of students who did that. Please.
How many of those prizes are left?
2, but that doesn't count. So his question is there a way to, can you game the system to get the points? So far, I didn't show this, but I offer students both interfaces, the modules interface and the game interface, because there's just some students who just hate it. I don't want to do it. I'm not at school to play games. I want to learn. Those 3 people, they can use the regular interface. And I don't think the gamification interface offers anything that the other interface doesn't. It's just more attractive and more interesting looking. Does that make sense? If we get time, I'll show you the live version at the end. Go ahead.
Yeah, so maybe just fill in zeros in the grade book for all the things they haven't done yet, so that you keep having an app.
Canvas so his question is, do I put zeros in all of the things? So Canvas have a setting that counts those as zeros unless there's a grade. So you're starting from 0 up, and you just flip a switch in the grade book, and it does that right. Well, they can go to the normal grade book. I don't want to get too far off field. I actually have written my own grade book module because that I've added kind of the side, but it's not what we're talking about here. So I have all kinds of pass-fail assignments and that kind of stuff. So I pull the Canvas data and run my own algorithms on the data and then push it to my interface, my version of the grade book. I'll show you that if we get time at the end. That way the grade counts in the way I want them to see it. If that makes sense. Okay. Oh, please, go ahead.
Do you sometimes see students collaborating and helping each other, or is it more competitive, or something?
So she's asking, does gamification make more competition? Yes. Does it provide more collaboration? I don't think it provides anything that the normal interface provides. Right? So however you do your pedagogy, that's how it's going to work. I'm just giving a skin that's more attractive to get through and provides its own layer of motivation. Go ahead.
I was wondering if students are like, hey, I found an Easter egg here.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't care if they cheat on the Easter eggs. There's no points there, and they just totally blew the whole point of, like, oh, I found something pleasant. No, that's kind of just this sort of moment of there's the kind of research along with it. There's a little dash of adrenaline that goes with it, and it's reinforcing psychologically. There's no actual points or anything with it. Go ahead.
Just curious, did your fast faction distribution kind of match your grade distribution before?
The grade distribution did not change, surprisingly, at all, because I've been teaching this course for a long time. Grade distribution did not change. Satisfaction appears to be higher, although I didn't measure it before. I'll have more data next year. I'm kind of expanding the research side of this out. All right, a couple more questions, and I want to move on. We haven't even gotten to the fun stuff.
Is there analytics? Do you have analytics that tell you each student's grade, things like that?
So his question is, what analytics are available? Again, not part of the presentation, but I created a skin for me as the teacher where I could see the whole class and a distribution. At the time, Canvas didn't offer a lot of that. It's over the last year, they've continued to add more and more of that stuff. So it's a little probably redundant at this point. But at the time, I just wanted a screen snapshot of what's there.
What's the grade level?
This is he asked what's the grade level, and this is a junior to senior level course in a bachelor's program. Okay, all right, moving on. This is more technical side. And all of this, if you go online to the Canvas course for this conference, this PowerPoint is there, and so are, I got 10 minutes, and so are, well, everything I'm showing you is all there. So okay. I'm not a fantastic programmer. Some of you, I'm sure, are much better programmers than I am. I have some amount of training, but nothing really in depth. So I've relied very heavily on libraries. This is the list of libraries I have used off the shelf. The first one is called blti.php. This is a basic LTI library that basically handles all the handshakes between Canvas and my LTI. Really recommend it. You don't have to hardly do anything that's LTI related because that library does most of it. OAuth is part of the authorization between the LTI and Canvas, and so these work together to authorize your LTI app. This is another one that's all part of that process, Trivial OAuth Data Store. MicroDB2, this is a database library, so I don't have to hand code all of the database interactions. It just makes it nice and clean and easy. Cryptastic is another one I used. Cryptastic allows me to encrypt the tokens, which if you've been around long enough today, hopefully you've heard that term by now. Encrypt the tokens so that they're not unprotected in the database. And then pipeline.php. This allows me to send asynchronous requests to the REST API. REST API. When I wrote this program a year ago, I didn't tell that story, but I actually came to this conference last year with the interface done, but not knowing how to do the LTI. I went to Hack Night and learned enough that over the summer I was able to build most of this stuff. So the pipeline API or PHP kind of allows me to send multiple REST API requests at the same time. Okay. Very technical. This is where we're in new territory. I can't like tell you a warm, fuzzy story. There's no motivational. I'm just going to show you technically what's going on in the software. Hopefully you can see this in the back, maybe. Okay, this is Canvas. This is my skin code, and this is the REST API. Okay. Canvas, the process starts out with when the user in Canvas clicks an item in the menu. Okay, once that's been clicked, Canvas requests the API. So it knows the URL to my software, and it sends a request to that URL. My software over here has a controller that then uses basic LTI.php to do the handshake. Make sure that it's actually Canvas requesting this and not something kooky or inappropriate. Then my controller checks to see if the user who's making the request has already been in my system. If they have not, the controller kicks back to the Canvas front end and says, who is this? Does this person want to really give me their token? Canvas shows the user a button that says, add this app. They click it, and that sends a response back to my OAuth, my response file. My response file says, okay, this is a legit request, and ask for the token. I take the token, I store it in the database. Okay. At this point, whether you went through all of this or we skipped right to here, we're going to push on to the student view. This is whatever's going to load. In my case, it's that Easter eggy leaderboard kind of thing. You could write hello world there, whatever you wanted. That's what's going to show up in that box. So it now displays this file, but before this file, this student view PHP, before it can load up, it needs data. It needs data, and so it's going to have to get that from the REST API. Okay? So it asks my API helper file to go to Canvas and send me all the data I need. Once that comes back, this could take a while. Sometimes a long while. If you're asking for a lot of content, it's gotten better in the last few months, but it used to take almost 60 seconds, which was a drag. What it does is the REST API comes in pages. And so if they don't send you enough stuff, you've got to keep requesting pages until you have all of the data. Once you have all of the data, you suck it all together, and then you create your student view. And then it kicks it back to Canvas that displays that in an iframe. You good there? Is that all? Hopefully that all made sense. That's the gist of it. That's what took me probably 2 months to figure out how all of that works. Go ahead. Yeah, it'll throw a bunch of PHP errors and puke. Yeah, I haven't been very graceful when it fails, and so it'll say like, I think I added something like tell Dr. Chapman it's broken or something, and then they'd send me an email. Let's go. Oh, her question was, does it say your question again? It was, what will it send it even if the data doesn't work? Go ahead. No, it's in an iframe, in an LTI iframe. If you're using the new attendance module, is anybody using the attendance module? It's just exactly like that. Okay, I've got like 2 minutes left. Post data, I'm getting the course ID, user ID, and the domain for the API, and I'm getting the user's role. From Canvas API, I'm getting all of the data from the module, from the assignment, from the students, and the submissions that the students have given in the past. I'm storing in the database an encrypted user token, an encrypted instructor token, and I've cached all of those modules and things so that it loads faster. And then I'm doing this ridiculous thing, which I should not do, but I just stored a lot of the JSON in the title fields in Canvas. So if you're nerdy, this is hilarious. This is ridiculous. I should be storing this in the database. I kind of went at this with the sort of experiment of how much could I do without having a database. And so I initially started with a lot of it there. Okay, and so there's the interface. That should answer your branding question, right? There's no branding issue there. It's just in an iframe. We're not going to get to code samples. Tips and tricks. But if I said we're not going to get to the code samples, I've uploaded them all. Go read them. They're all there. Every file I just told you about is there. The response file, the controller, the API helper file, all of that's there. So you can just, it would have been boring for me to show it to you anyway. I could show it to you in the hall if you want me to. Tips and tricks. Go to Hack Night. They were very helpful. Is Cody in here? I don't know if he's going to come. He's one of the Canvas programmers. Very helpful. Continue to help me after InstructureCon was over. You're going to need a developer ID and token from Instructure. That can be a little time consuming if you go through the normal channels. If you go to Hack Night, they can just generate you one, or at least they did for me last year. So that might save you some time. Cache as much content as you want because the loading is slow. It's at least double a normal website because that API is you're actually hitting lots of URL hits in different places and pulling together. Use Ajax to build the interface as quick as you can and then load that stuff up after. If you notice, that's what the modules view does. If you watch it for a second, the green check marks will appear after a while. That's because they're loading in their own APIs from their own sources, actually fairly slow. There's a Google group, and then Canvas has a course out there called Introduction to LTI Apps. I used that. It was great. I totally recommend it. It's like 7 or 8 modules. Go in it. There's great code samples in there as well. How am I doing? It's not at GitHub. It's just on the course. It's pretty sterilized versions that I could use here to kind of walk through it. Here's my course. Here's the adjusted gradebook. Different modules are there. You can see the lock content. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm just burning on fumes. Any questions? Go ahead, please. Yeah, it's designed that if I add it to the modules view, it will pick it up here as well. It just dynamically generates off of the existing stuff. Hopefully your goals and all your dreams and aspirations have been met in the last 30 minutes. Any other questions? Am I totally just... my email address, pretty simple, Jared, J-A-R-E-D, .chap, C-H-A-P, @gmail.com. Other questions? It's warm. Go outside. Thank you. We'll see you.